Hey, what's up guys? So in this video, I'm going to be doing a long-term, real, nitty-gritty review of the Glycine Combat Sub, because this was actually one of the first videos I posted on my channel well over a year ago. And after having this watch for so long, I really want to highlight some of the nuances and really nice design features about this piece. And also, I think this gives me an opportunity to amend some of the things I said in the original video that perhaps weren't as accurate. And lastly, I was finally able to get this watch on its stock oyster style bracelet. And I got this actually as part of a recent trade with another local watch enthusiast. This guy actually drove over an hour to my place in London, Ontario to pick up another watch I was selling. And then we just got to talking, and he had a really nice collection as well as this stock bracelet. So a few more watches exchanged hands. And I was really happy to get the bracelet on this watch because I think it just wears really well. So I'm going to flip perspectives in a second, and I'll give you the long-term review of this watch. And I'm also going to post in the description below that original video review. So if you want to get a kick, maybe you can look at some of my earlier videos as well. Okay guys, so here's the real long-term review of a Glycine Combat Sub, which I've owned for well over 2 years now. And as I mentioned, I got it on its factory bracelet. So before I get into any of the detailed nuances and design features of this watch, let me just talk about how it's held up. It's actually held up remarkably well. It's been through some slight abuse. I don't wear this on the daily. It's in my rotation, but overall, I think the watch is held up really well. It's never needs servicing whatsoever, and it's been a consistent timekeeper. Over the about 2 years I've had it, it's been gaining plus 8 seconds a day, which for me, any watch that's like plus or minus 10 seconds a day it's pretty good at keeping time. So no complaints there whatsoever. Now let's just go into the specs a bit. Most of you probably are aware, but this is a 42mm watch face. If you look at the side profile here, if you're looking at the dimensions from lug tip to lug tip, you're looking at 50mm. The height on this watch is fantastic. It's 10.7mm thin, which is amazing for a dive watch. And then if you look at the lug gap here for your bracelet, it's 22mm. So the proportions and the fit and finish on this watch are just amazing. It's very versatile, and I think a lot of different wrist sizes can comfortably wear this watch. Now, one of the things I'd like to amend is in my first video, I suggested that this was a slight homage to a Rolex Submariner. Now, I do want to retract that statement. Many people also pointed out that I probably shouldn't have said that, because taking into account the design features with the case construction, the thinness, even the handset and dial layout itself, like this is its own watch. So I can't really say that anymore that this is a homage to a Rolex. Glycine did a good job designing this watch, and it definitely stands alone, I would say. Now, if we look in at this gorgeous dial, it's protected by a flat sapphire crystal that has a generous application of anti-reflective coating on the underside here. What I really appreciate about this is just how legible this watch is. Now, originally I also thought I said this is a matte black dial, but if you look in at a macro level, there's just a very slight texture to it under certain lighting conditions. But the black contrasting with the white applied indices works so well, along with that handset. Now the applied hour markers, they have a slight green tint to them, and I think that's largely in part due to the C1 Superluminova. They do a really good job applying it. I will throw up a lume shot now. It's very legible and long lasting. I don't think it's going to blow you away like Seiko Lumibright technology, but it definitely holds its own for sure. Now you'll note too that inside the hour markers you have 24-hour military time, which I love that feature, and I also love that it's printed in orange. You get really nice contrast there, and as well as orange print near the 6 o'clock where it says sub 20 atmospheres or 200 meters. So again, this is a 200-meter dive watch that's just very versatile and thin and legible. Now let's also look at the handset. One of the nuances I really appreciate about this watch, and I've come to love the longer I've owned it, is how well that minute and second hand reach out to the edge of a dial and just touch the minute markers there. It's very easy to get a quick and accurate reading on time. Now, if we talk about the heart of this watch, it uses the Glycine caliber GL224, which is really a base ETA 2824-2, which is a workhorse Swiss movement. It beats away at 4 Hertz. As you can see, nice smooth sweep of the second hand there. You get about a 38-hour power reserve and hacking and hand wind. And as I mentioned, it's robust and keeping good time for as long as I've owned it, and it's never needed to be serviced. Now, I also appreciate that you get a really nice date display at the 3 o'clock here, and you can see that the aperture of a date window is just really nicely framed in white, and the date wheel is the same black color as the rest of the dial. So overall, it adds to the symmetry, and just again, it's very functional in giving you time and date. Now, if we move along and talk about the bezel, it's a 60-quick unidirectional bezel that lines up really well with the minute markings, and listen to the nice robust bezel action. So very noticeable detents, and when it locks into place, there's like no back play whatsoever. A real nice design feature about this watch that I also come to appreciate more and more is if you look at the near the 12 o'clock, the bezel here has this added notch. And tactically, if you run your finger along the coin edge bezel, you definitely notice it. So it just helps give you orientation where the loom pip is with respect to the bezel. So I love how that feature of the watch as well. And again, it's kind of subtle, but you learn to appreciate it the longer you own it. Now, if we flip to the side and look at the case profile, again, one of the hallmark features about this watch is how thin it is, and also look at how the lugs they just drape down and they just will hug your wrist so well. And I really love that oversized crown. And when I say that, I mean like the crown height is about the height of the case of the watch, maybe minus the bezel a little bit, but it's nicely gnarled. It's you have a Glycine logo applied to it. And you have some nice crown guards here too. So if you're worried about being too large and banging on things, I've bumped this watch case against door jambs and the like. And, the crown and everything looks pretty sharp still. Now, one of the things in my initial review I mentioned was how hard it was to rethread the crown once you pop it out. But there is a trick to it. So, it unscrews really easy. You get a satisfying pop. And then if you were to pull it out to the first position, that's your quick date setting feature. And then if you pull it all the way out, I've just hacked the movement. But in order to rethread it, instead of just sometimes you can back thread with a little pressure and then start screwing and it'll screw in. You really have to push the full crown tube tight up against the case. And then just give it a few turns. And honestly, that rethreads the crown. So I thought this was, too few turns to actually be seated properly. But as you can see, it's plush against the case and no water is going to get in there whatsoever. Now, if we just quickly talk about the fit and finish. So along the sides, you get really high polish. I've kind of smudged and dinged it up over the years, but still holding up really well. And then you have more of a satin type finish on the top of the lugs here, which I come to appreciate because the bracelet too, it's mostly satin finished with a bit of brushing, and then along the sides you get high polish. Now the bracelet itself just uses friction pins, if I can get it to focus. Which, I mean, I would have preferred to have screw pins, but these do the job just fine. And then you have some nice micro adjustment here along the clasp. The clasp itself is signed, Glycine. You have the fold over security, and then you have a dual trigger deployment and a really nicely milled out clasp here, which looks and sounds very solid. The bracelet does taper a bit too. It's from 22 millimeters at the case, tapering down to about 20. And then, let me just show you the case back. Yeah, it might be a little beat up. Note that the bracelet does have solid end links, which I do appreciate. And the fit as well. So let me show you how this stock bracelet looks on wrist. And here's the wrist shot, guys. So as you can see, I just love how the case just turns down and hugs your wrist so well. And now that I finally have a stock bracelet, I just think it completes the look. It's just very seamless and very versatile. And a great summer watch now that we're getting into the hotter months in Southern Ontario. So this has been my long-term review of this watch. It's really hard to think of any negatives now that I've come to appreciate it more and more. You can find these all day now on the gray market for under 500 bucks. So I highly recommend picking one up if you want a great entry-level Swiss dive watch. So please let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video.